We were at the second leg of the Triple Crown, and who better to come on than talk about the Preakness than Gino from the That's What G Said podcast. Gino, how you doing today, my man?
Doing well, buddy. Fun week. You and I are recording on Thursday, so Black Eyed Susan Day is Friday. Preakness Day is Saturday. Mage is the heavy favorite in the Preakness. He's the only horse that's returning from the Kentucky Derby that raced a few weeks ago. So as we record right now, there are some rumors about one horse that might scratch. We can just talk about that horse like he's not, because for our conversations, as of now, the horse is still in the race. So the field of 8 that's going to be lining up right now for the Preakness.
So we got National Treasure 4-1, Chase the Chaos 50-1, which basically sounds like my dating life. Mage 8-5, Coffee with Chris 20-1, Red Root 1 10-1, Perform 15-1, Blazing Sevens 6-1, First Mission 5-2. Now let's just play what if. What if the rumors are true? First Mission is scratched. I mean, is this just Mage all the way?
This is a really tough race to bet, because that, to me, I don't even know how much I would be betting individually just on this race, because the horse that I liked is First Mission, just thinking that he's the horse peaking at the right time right now. Mage stands out over the rest of this field, and a horse like National Treasure, who will probably end up being a short price. He's 4-1 on the morning line. He really hasn't proven himself all that much. Like, he's fine, but in this, he probably should be like double his price normally in a race like this. Just goes to show you it's not the strongest renewal of the Preakness. When we talk in a few weeks, the Belmont will probably be a pretty strong race, because there's a lot of horses that are not running here that will end up running back in a few weeks.
Now, it seems like this has been a continuing trend now for the last X amount of years.
Yeah, I think this is the first time since 1969 that there's only been one horse, but we very rarely have a bunch coming back. It's tough. I just don't know what you can do, because owners and trainers, they're just not going to run their horses as often nowadays. So if you don't win the Kentucky Derby, almost no one else is going to run back in the Preakness, because they don't really have to. They'll just wait the 5 weeks, come back in the Belmont with a fresh horse, or pick a different spot. You really don't see horses that, unless they feel like their horse had a really big excuse in the Derby and didn't encounter much trouble, like the race didn't take a whole lot out of them, then maybe they'll wheel back. Sometimes when a trainer or an owner feels like they have the best horse that just got beat in the Preakness or in the Derby, then a lot of times they come back in the Preakness. So this year, it's no doubt Mage's race to lose.
Now I'm looking at Chase Chaos 50-1, Coffee with Chris 20-1, Red Root 1 10-1, and Perform 15-1. Could any of these get up to second?
Absolutely. Both the 5 and the 6 would be the 2. Red Route 1, he's one of the most consistent horses in this race. What I mean by that, you know exactly what you're going to get from him. He's a deep closer. So his running style, he's not fast early. He's going to be last, or one of the last horses to start this race. And then he will pass a lot of horses here. He just needs a little bit of help. He needs them to go fast enough early for him to come closing. And I don't know how, if he's positioned somewhere next to Mage, for him and Mage, closing together. We saw Mage very, very strong when he was in those conditions. So for Red Route Run, I can realistically see him finishing a good second or third Red Route 1. And I actually like him as one of those horses if you're looking for price. I think with Perform, in his last 2 races, he's really shown improvement. He's looking for his 3rd straight win. He won a race called the Federico Tessio, which by winning that race, it qualifies you for the Preakness. And he was visually impressive. He will need to improve, but I would use those 2 in exotics. I'm not as high on Blazing Sevens at all. Like, I don't want much to do with him. If we can find matchups against Blazing Sevens, I'm not really that high on him. In National Treasure, it's difficult. I was going to try to fade National Treasure if First Mission's in the race. If not, if you're looking for the horse to beat Mage, it might be National Treasure going wire to wire. So unfortunately, it's not the sexiest renewal of the Preakness this year.
Now, who has the lead?
The 4 Coffee with Chris has shown speed. The 1 National Treasure has the blinkers on. He has the rail draw, and he will probably be either on the lead or sitting in a great spot just behind Coffee with Chris and then takes the lead. So I think I don't really give Coffee with Chris much of a chance in here. He has a win at Pimlico. Maybe he can hit the board because he's going to be forwardly placed. Could he run 3rd or 4th? Yes. I don't think he's good enough to win. Of the speed horses, National Treasure is the one that will be most forwardly placed and have the best chance to win.
Now we're going to pull our matchups up on. Oh, before we get to that, I'm pick 5, pick 6 player here.
Great stuff all weekend.
Is this just a single to the Preakness? Because I know, don't they have a ton? Isn't there like 6 pick 5s?
And they're all low takeout, which is great. They're all 12% takeout. The pick 4s are like 25% takeout. So if you're going to play a pick 4, don't play a pick 5 instead. Play lower takeout wagers. Just look and see if you can find that information because it's different for each track. And, try to play into those. It's basically like, Eric, how we bet, right? If you're going to play with books that, are minus 120, why would you do that when you can find everywhere?
110. Yep.
Right. You just got to find places where you can play the same thing for better value. Yep.
So is this just a single, to Mage then, or is there any other horse I should include?
Yeah, because the problem for me is I really I liked First Mission as a horse to maybe single against Mage, right? Like I would have maybe, if First Mission's in the race and if he's in the race, he's fine. If he's not in the race, he's out. But let's say he's in, I would single him as against Mage. He'll be the strong second choice. I probably wouldn't bet him to win because at like 5-2 or 2-1, it's still a short price. But in a pick 4, in a pick 5 situation like that, in multi-race exotics, you'll get a little bit more value for a horse like that. Now, the problem is with him out of the race, that makes National Treasure, a horse who I didn't really like to begin with, way undervalued now. Because if you take out First Mission, now National Treasure will flop down to 5-2. And that's and you'll have a horse like Blazing Sevens go down to probably 5-1, 4-1. So those horses, can they win? Sure. But they're sort of going in the wrong direction. They were better at 2, both National Treasure and First Mission, or both National Treasure and Blazing Sevens. They haven't shown any improvement at 3. And Mage right now is a horse who's really moving forward and improving. Though, if I'm trying to find value in this race, the way I do it was sort of what you were hinting at. I take Mage, I hook Mage up with Red Route 1 and Perform. I put Mage on top of them, and then those 2 on top of Mage. And you hope that, Mage wins, and at least underneath, it doesn't go Mage and then National Treasure and Blazing Sevens, because if it doesn't go first choice, second choice, third choice, at least you'll get paid a little bit. Yeah. And then if you play it both ways, if for some reason a Red Route 1 or a Perform were to win and defeat Mage, then of course you'll get very well rewarded.
Now I'm looking at it right now. Let's pull up the Bet Online head-to-head. Obviously, nothing is official yet, but there is rumors circulating.
I would have played that one with First Mission at plus 125.
First Mission at 125 makes a lot of sense. National Treasure, if First Mission runs, it's minus 175 for First Mission, plus 137 for National Treasure. That's a little too high for me.
Me too.
To get
invested. I wouldn't like to play any of these that were like higher than minus 150. I would just look for other ones, or play the horse in the race, a different way.
Now we got National Treasure and Blazing Sevens. National Treasure is minus 165.
It's too high. I'd lean National Treasure. I like that one better, but it's the the line's too high for that one for me to get interested in.
Now we got Perform.
I'd actually go Red Route 1
Route.
here at minus 110. I think I'm a little more confident in Red Route 1 closing against these level of horses. I'm not quite sure yet how good Perform is. He might be, but in a matchup like this, if it was basically even, and even getting a little bit better value on Red Route 1, I go in that direction.
Now we got, Red Route 1 minus 215, Coffee with Chris plus 169.
Yeah, I'll stay away there. That's just too big.
Now, I need to ask you this, obviously, that is all that Bet Online is offering. I want to ask you, what is your take on the Jaffe being
Safety Joseph.
Safety Joseph, Jesus, sorry, being told not to come to Belmont?
So it's crazy in racing because it's different than in a lot of other sports. Every jurisdiction has their own. At Gulfstream, he's going through, heightened security. So his horses all had to ship into a certain barn. They're being monitored more. So they're really watching. He's not able to do anything wrong. I wish I knew the situation a little bit closer, but in this current climate, I can understand why a lot of these tracks you're getting to have a zero tolerance policy. The problem is it becomes a little bit hypocritical, Eric, because it's like they pick and choose where they want to enforce it. There's certain people that,
everyone has their favorite.
Yeah. And that's sort of what's hard is because like, right with the animals now, and since it's in horse racing and with the way things have been in racing the last few years, the public perception isn't quite as good. I can understand why anytime there's an issue, they get any track can have a no tolerance policy if they'd like, but I wish they were just more consistent. That's what I always want, just as a fan, as a bettor, as anything, right? When I complain about officials anywhere, I complain because it's not consistent. I don't care if they call all the fouls or no fouls. I just want it to be consistent. I think that's the same thing. Nobody wants to see anything bad happen to the horses. If they find out he's been doing things, I hope he's punished accordingly. I don't know necessarily if or what he's done yet, or if anything is just bad circumstance, but I wish it was a little bit more consistent. And in other countries and a lot of around the world, it's a very, very, very serious penalties if you're caught doing any sort of like doping or drugging.
Now, one more Preakness question, and then before I let you go, we talk about basketball a lot, and I'm new to the horse game. I haven't been around it that much. In basketball, we talk about betting the narrative. Rosario is on Red Route 1, and he's never won this race. He's finished second in 2014 on Ride with Curling, 2015 Tale of Vure, 2019 Everfast, and 2022 Epicenter. He's won the Derby. He's won the Belmont Stakes. He's won, 15 races at the Breeders' Cup.
Yep.
Is this the one where he is just kind of under the radar that he puts it together? But he wasn't, how can I word this? He wasn't impressive at Churchill.
No. His last, all year long, he's been struggling. The first half of this year has not been a very good year for him. At Gulfstream, he was struggling really early. And I think he got taken off some mounts for some horses, because one of the problems that he has is if you put him on a list of the best finishers and any person said that he's like the strongest finisher on a horse, that's fine. I wouldn't argue with anyone who says that. I personally probably think he is. But what happens is, I think sometimes he's so confident in his own ability that he brings too many horses too far back, and he gives them a little bit too much to do. It's almost like in baseball, think about like a shortstop or someone who's got a great arm, and they wait a little bit too long instead of just making the play because they think they can do it. quarterback that maybe thinks they can make a throw instead of just making the easy throw, so what's interesting is this horse fits him so perfectly with the way he likes to ride. He loves to bring horses back and close and show everybody what a great finisher he is. He seems to really enjoy that. So this might be the horse where it's rider and horse are a perfect marriage. He has not won the Preakness, but Steve Asmussen has won the Preakness twice. So his trainer definitely knows how to get the job done.
And I mean, this is a gun runner colt, right?
Yep.
Has only won twice. Oh, but just ran its most recent race at the Bath Row Stakes at Oakland Park. Okay. All right. So maybe Red Route 1 is that horse that I can throw in as a second as someone else. I really don't want a single Mage in my pick five.
It's not fun ever to just be single to the favorite at the end, especially, right? Closing, just knowing that's all you have. He's the fun value horse in the race for me. No doubt about it.
So, Gino, I'd like to thank you for coming on. Those that are watching on YouTube, Gino does great work for DRF. There's a link down to the DRF bets, which you can use promo code winning, I believe.
Yep. It's really good. It gives you, if you have ever watched Eric's shows on Tuesday, I always, I'll pull up like the past performances, what they look like the research sheets, and DRF will give you access to those. They'll give you a 250 match bonus. So if you deposit 250, they'll put 250 right back into your account. They'll give you another $10 free bet. A lot of good perks. Use the promo code winning. I think Eric put the link right in there. So great place to look at all the races, get all the info, and then you can make your wagers all right there this weekend.
Link is below for those watching on YouTube in the description section. For those listening on the podcast, the link will be in the podcast description. Make sure to check that out. Gino, I'd like to thank you for coming on. I'm going to let you get back to, hopefully, as long as I get the under, I don't care, rooting your boys onto a victory.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see if we can get those Lakers home in game 2. Good luck this weekend, everyone.